Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse is directed by Persichetti, Peter Ramsey, and Rodney Rothman, and it stars Shameik, Jake Johnson, and Hailee Steinfeld among a humongous cast which includes Nicolas Cage, so this film is already fantastic. And we step into a world where Miles Morales has just become Spider-Man. At the same time, their realities collapse, and so his counterparts from other dimension must unite with Miles to stop a threat that might annihilate all of reality in the multiverse. Guys, everything you've been hearing about this film is true. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is a fantastic film, maybe even the best Spider-Man film of all time. It dives so deep into the Spider-Man mythos like I've never seen before, nor did I ever think I would ever see it done. Shameik is a pure star. Miles Morales is everything you want him to be in this film. Kind-hearted, vulnerable, he's a real human. He's a kid with a lot of problems in his life. Troubles at home, troubles at school, and now troubles with being Spider-Man. And he has to take on this humongous responsibility of something that he witnesses early on in the film, and then must unite with other Spider-Man from other dimensions, including Peter Parker. Now, something happens early in this film that shocked me because I knew Jake Johnson was voicing Peter Parker. And then early on, I see Peter Parker's face and I'm like, why is Peter Parker? Oh. And there's heavy stuff in this film. Don't get me wrong, the film is perfectly suitable for children and is very kid friendly, but there's a lot of heavy emotion going on and a lot of heavy stuff that happens visually in this film. Lots of very gruesome violence in terms of feeling for these characters and seeing them get hit and getting thrown to the ground. You actually do fear for their lives a lot, and there are a lot of good surprises in this film, stuff that I didn't think they were going to do. Jake Johnson surprisingly does a really good job as Spider-Man, a very different version of Peter Parker that I've ever seen. He's the Spider-Man who has given up, a Spider-Man who lost Mary Jane because they got divorced, a Spider-Man who has given up the fight. He's now has a beer gut, and that gives a lot of comedy to this film, but over that, it even gives it a more dramatic emphasis. So does Spider-Gwen, and Hailee Steinfeld does a fantastic job. Spider-Gwen is one of my favorite characters in recent years in the comic books, and they nailed her in this film. And they are the three main stars. We also get Spider-Man War, who is perfectly cast in Nicolas Cage. I love the time they give to him. I love the time given to Penny Parker, and John Mulaney as Spider-Ham is the stuff of dreams. I was so afraid for his comedy, but I now would watch a full-on Spider-Ham film. The stuff they do with him is out of this world funny. But speaking of out of this world, the animation. I have truly never seen animation like this. This animation is insanely excellent. So many different types of animation. 3D, 2D, Photoshop animation, Flash, and even Penny Parker stands out, but in a good way. She truly moves and acts like an anime character. Noir acts like an old type of comic. Spider-Ham comes across as a 60s Looney Tune, and it still fits so well. It's pretty easy nowadays to say that a comic book film does feel and look like a comic book come to life, but this film literally is it. This film looks like a comic book panel in motion, with the exaggerated sounds coming on as words on screen, the thought bubbles showing up on screen, the movements of these characters, the lines around them really enhanced at certain particular moments that really work well. This film truly is a very much more elaborately animated graphic motion comic, and I really enjoy the animation style here, and I really hope to see more of it. And speaking of the story, which is bonkers crazy, but it has this foundation in real human emotions, with Miles's problems, with Peter's problems, with Gwen's problems. They are the fulcrum of this film. They are the emotional depth of this film, and it works so well. I really cannot speak highly enough about this animation. The fluidity of the movements, the colors, they pop so well. Every time this film wants you to pay attention to something, every time this film wants your eye to be directed at something that is particularly important for the plot to move on, it does it so well. You never get distracted with something that you're not supposed to be distracted with. This film just captures your attention with its really great story that works on so many levels. On levels of fantasy, on levels of drama, on levels of comedy, on levels of action. Just all these genres working together and all these Spider-Man working together is so well done. As a Spider-Man fan, I was constantly floored by this film over and over again. My jaw dropped. My face hurts from smiling and laughing so much. And this film really brings you to tears at certain points. My only issue is that at certain points when music starts to come in, the montages start to kind of feel the same to just move on to more interesting points in the story. Suffice it to say, after everything I've said thus far, this film is absolutely a must-watch. Whether you've been a Spider-Man fan for the longest time or you're just getting introduced to him, this is a film for every age, for every person of every background. It doesn't matter if you've loved Spider-Man, if you're just starting to love him. This film is emotional, it's funny, it's heartwarming, it's action-packed, it is insanely well animated, and it's got a lot of heart in it. From Spider-Man fans to Spider-Man fans. And I'm going to give Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse an A. Guys, what did you think of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse? Is it your favorite Spider-Man film? Is it not? Please do stay for the fantastic post-credit scenes, including a very heartwarming tribute to Stan Lee. But do stay till the last post-credit scene is fantastic. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are the best. I can't wait to bring you my reviews for Aquaman, Mortal Engines, and many others coming this weekend and the next week. So I'll see you then, and until then, stay beautiful and stay geeky. And if you haven't done so yet, click the subscribe button and click the bell so we can be geeky united.